So Superman and Lois is finally back, which is why I got the whole Superman thing going on again. If you've been watching my channel, or if you were watching my channel a few months ago, you know that I really loved Superman and Lois when it first started, and then it took a break after the 5th episode. It's finally back, and so today I'm going to be talking about the 6th episode of Superman and Lois. Let's go. So before I talk about episode 6 of Superman and Lois, I want to go back and talk about episodes 4 and 5 because I left off with episode 3 in my previous video. I never got to talk about episodes 4 and 5 just because of just other things that were happening at the time that they came out. I never got the chance to make videos about them, so I want to talk about them now. Mainly I just want to talk about the two big reveals that we got in those episodes. And if you don't want to hear me talk about episodes 4 and 5, you just want to skip to episode 6, I'll leave chapter markers in the timeline below, so you could just skip to the episode 6 portion. So first, episode 4, we got, the reveal of what Morgan Edge is actually doing in Smallville. We found out about X-Kryptonite in the mines. That's why he bought the mines, because there's X-Kryptonite there that is giving people in the town powers, like Tag. He got powers in the 4th episode. He came back. That was the cliffhanger in the 5th episode. And so I like that they went that route, because I think in my last video I'd said that I thought they were going to go the route of General Zod when they showed the other people with superpowers. And so I thought they were going to go that route with it, and I'm glad that they didn't. I'm glad they went a different route. I guess this is like a similar thing they did in the show Smallville, but I have not seen Smallville, so this is kind of a new concept for me, at least, and so I like that they went that route instead of doing General Zod again, since we've already gotten that a few times before in live action stuff, so I think that I like that they went that route with it. And the other reveal that we got in the 5th episode is that our villain, Captain Luthor, not Lex Luthor. I think I thought that in my previous videos. I thought that it was Lex Luthor. It's just somebody with the last name Luthor. I guess we're calling him the Stranger now. And so we found out in his universe that he came from, he is actually dating or married to Lois Lane. And so I think that's very interesting because it kind of shows, I think a bit like why this show is called Superman and Lois, because, because also in that timeline that the Stranger, Captain Luthor, is from, Superman is evil. And so I think that you're showing, like, Lois is,
she's the key!
Lois is very important to, making Superman the hero, instead of, having him go to the dark side. I think it's showing, like, why their relationship is so important, because we see there's a timeline where they don't get together, and Superman's evil. And so I think that's very interesting, that, an interesting reveal that I think definitely shows some, interesting stuff. I think there's also a conversation between Lana Lang, or Cushing, and Lois Lane in episodes 4 or 5, I don't remember which, but where they're talking about kind of how Lana saw Clark come back to Smallville at some point, and he seemed very different, and that's because it was Lois Lane he had met, so that's what changed him. And so you're really seeing, like, Lois is very, very important in Clark's life to really show, like, to keep him on track, to keep him on the light side, because, again, we see there's a timeline where they don't end up together, and Superman turns evil. And so, that's what I kind of just wanted to talk about. I thought, those were the two big things in the 4th and 5th episodes that I wanted to talk about, that I've been wanting to talk about for, like, 2 months now, and so glad I finally got to say that stuff. And now let's move on to episode 6 of Superman and Lois. The episode starts out very much where episode 5 left off, in the cliffhanger of Tag returns. Tag is the person who got powers in the 4th episode. I guess he became a speedster, and so he returns. He goes to attack Jordan. Superman shows up. He starts to chase Tag. Tag ends up going way faster than he can. Superman has to end up saving a train. Tag gets away, and I think that was a nice kind of, action sequence, or Superman saving people sequence to start out the episode. Yeah, I thought that was good. Thought that was well done. Then later in the episode, Tag, throughout the episode, Tag's trying to, get Jordan, because he thinks that Jordan, turned him into, gave him powers, turned him into a speedster and stuff. So he's kind of mad at him for that. He saw the video of Jordan with the heat vision from the first episode, and he thinks Jordan caused that, which I think that we're starting to find out it wasn't really Jordan, at least not completely. It was the ex-Kryptonite there that did that, but maybe Jordan did have a part in doing that. I'm not really sure, but yeah. So Tag is mad at Jordan. He's trying to get him. He's trying to kill him, and so he captures Sarah, and then Superman has to end up saving Sarah. He promises Tag that he'll, if he returns back to the Department of Defense, wherever he was, he'll be safe. And so then the Department of Defense come in. They start shooting around. They end up shooting kryptonite bullets. Tag ends up going back with the Department of Defense, and you start to get a bit of a thing of like trust between Superman and the government. Him realizing that since they have set up, they have kryptonite bullets, and so we're starting to realize maybe they don't actually trust me as much as I think they do, and either they're losing trust in Superman or they never really had it. And so that's a very interesting concept, and it's also, makes it more complicated since you have General Lane there, his father-in-law, and so that makes it more complicated there. So, there's just this whole idea of like trust between the government and Superman. It's kind of a bit of like a subplot throughout the show that definitely is going to lead to something big by the end of it. It just kind of, each episode, you're just seeing like moments of like less and less trust in between the government and Superman, and so, or less trust that the government has of Superman. And so I think that it's very interesting. I like that they have that kind of subplot going on there, especially since this Superman is a Superman that is much older than one that, the ones we've seen before. He's much more experienced Superman, and so it's interesting to see like that kind of take on it of like yeah, maybe we've seen, Superman starts and the government isn't really trusting him. What about Superman has been doing his thing for like 20 years? What happens then? Like, what's the trust there? And you're seeing, what are the trust problems there? I think it's very interesting. I like that they're going that route. But we'll move on from that and talk about Jordan's headaches. Throughout the episode, ever since he got attacked by Tag, he's been having, it's kind of like his powers kind of go crazy. He hears this high pitched noise, and his heat vision starts going off, and it happens once at school, and John, his brother, is saying, we have to tell Superman, we have to tell Dad, and Jordan doesn't want to tell Clark because he wants to play in a football team against Metropolis. And so, since they used to go to Metropolis school, he wants to go up against Metropolis and show the guys from Metropolis who bullied him that kind of get a bit of, revenge on them. And so, they decide not to tell Clark. But then, we get to the football game, and we get to this point where it happens again. Jordan starts having the headache, the high-pitched noise, heat vision going off, and so Clark runs out to the field, and you get this moment. He, he tells Jordan to let the heat vision out. He takes it onto his hand. Lets him let out the heat vision onto his hand because he could take it because he's Superman. And I think I like that moment because, it's like what I've said in my previous video of how this show is really a family drama with Superman. You can pretty much see, there's things that happen in this show that happen in family dramas, but you add a Superman spin to it. In a family drama, you're gonna have kid playing football, gets hurt, parent goes out to help them. But in a Superman show, kid ends up, his powers go on the fritz, go crazy, his heat vision starts to go off, he can't control it, and so Superman has to run out and take the heat vision onto his hand. And so I think that's very cool. They just, they're taking moments that could be taken straight from a family drama and adding Superman layer to it, adding Superman spin to it. I think I like that. I really like what they're doing with that kind of stuff. So I thought that was a really good moment. It leads to, they go up to the hotel room. Clark finds out that they lied to him. They didn't tell him, or they kept from him that Jordan was having the heat vision problems. And so, he gets mad at them. He tells them to stay in the hotel room. He goes to deal with Tag, as I mentioned earlier. And of course, they do not stay in the hotel room. They end up going out with their football team and go out drinking with them. Metropolis guys show up, start messing with Jordan. John is trying to keep Jordan back, but we get to this point. Jordan goes to punch one of the Metropolis guys, and John stops him, tries to stop him, puts his hand out. Jordan ends up punching John's hand, and because he's using superpowers to do that, John's hand is broken. And so now John is mad at Jordan for, we're doing that, now we can't play football anymore. And so there's a trust broken there. And I'm hoping that this is a turning point for Jordan's character. I'm hoping that, we're going to see, him growing as a hero, and that this moment is going to be a moment that's going to, set him on a different path of learning how to use his powers correctly, how to, when to use them, when not to use them. We have this conversation between Clark and Jordan about, about trust, about, how the rest of the world is going to be more afraid of their powers than they are, and so they need to be careful of when they use their powers, how they use their powers, to be able to, keep that trust of the rest of the world. Going back to the whole problem I was talking about earlier of the subplot line with Superman and the government, the government kind of losing trust in Superman or maybe never having it. I like that you're kind of seeing that from Superman's side of things, and then Jordan's side of things, kind of learning how to gain the trust of others, and how to be the best, hopefully, hero he can be. Hopefully at some point he becomes a hero down the line. I'm hoping there's going to be some point later in the series where, something happens, maybe Sarah gets captured and, Superman's out doing something, he can't get there, and Jordan has to have his big moment and really save the day. I think that would be very cool to have that at some point, but then get to the end of the episode, the whole thing happens again, really, worse with high-pitched noise, and, it's really bad this time, so Superman has to go and fly him to the Fortress of Solitude, and that's where the episode ends. So I'm very excited to see where that goes next week, and I'm gonna make a prediction. I'm gonna say that I think this is sort of his powers leveling up. I think that, there's something happening, and when he gets, through the other side of it, his powers are going to be heightened more than they were when they first started, because, second episode we find out he doesn't have as much powers as Superman does, so he's not ever going to be at that level, and maybe we're going to find out that was wrong. Maybe he is gaining more and more powers, and it's coming through more, and he's not, his body's not able to, not really able to control it when it happens, and so I'm thinking that's where this is going, but who knows? That's my prediction. But our other plot line in this episode is Lois and Captain Luthor, or the Stranger. They start investigating Morgan Edge, the mines. They find out about the X-Kryptonite. They find out about, the people working for Morgan Edge. They have powers, and so, then, as they're escaping, Captain Luthor uses one of his weapons to, to be able to escape, to go up against the lady who has superpowers and works for Morgan Edge. And so, because of this, Lois starts to be suspicious of him because, he had told her that he was another reporter, and she finds out, the badges he gave her are forged, and he was just using, some kind of weapon there that, a reporter wouldn't have, and so, starts to be a bit suspicious of him, and he's starting to lay the groundwork for, this mystery of who this guy is to, for giving Lois and Clark a reason to, be suspicious of him and learn more about him for this final battle that'll happen at the end of the season. And I'll say this plotline wasn't the best of the episode. It was my favorite. I much more enjoyed the whole Jordan having problems with his powers thing, because, again, I've said this in my other videos too. I think that they don't really need the whole plotline with X-Kryptonite and the Captain Luthor from another timeline, and so I think that they could just have this family drama with Superman, and that just be it. Not that this whole stuff is, this whole thing isn't interesting. I do like it, but I think that I like the whole family drama side of it way more, of just, having these moments like Jordan being hurt on the field, having, having his powers go crazy, and Superman have to go out and let him have his heat vision go on his hand. I think that just those moments are way more interesting to me than, Captain Luthor and Lois investigating Morgan Edge, finding out the X-Kryptonite. Not that it's cool, but I like the other plotline better. Then you also have this whole thing where Morgan Edge is finally, he's giving people in Smallville jobs. He gives Lana a job, but not her husband, Kyle. And I like that they have him, he's kind of at first seeming like he's jealous, but eventually he realizes that this is good, it's fine, that he's just happy for his wife to have that. So we're kind of getting a bit of a character arc for him, where he started out kind of just, being a bit of a jerk, and now he's kind of being more selfless, whereas I think originally he was more selfish, and now he's becoming more selfless, becoming a better person, a better husband, a better father, and so I think that I like that they're kind of giving him a bit of a character arc in this show, and so I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about with Superman and Lois, episode 6. I think that I'm going to continue talking about the episodes. I'm going to talk about them in twos, I think, from now on. So next video is going to be talking about episode 7 and 8. I think at some point it's going to take a break again. So we'll have to figure out the whole schedule for the videos when that happens, but for now, as long as it's going, continuing the way it is, I'll go by 2 videos each video, or 2 episodes each video, and so, yeah, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, please comment below your thoughts on the video and of Superman and Lois episode 6, and remember to give this video a like, consider subscribing to the channel, and maybe check out some of my other videos. And with that said, that's a wrap.